Are we live? Maybe. There it is. Okay. All right. So, I am answering another question from the Facebook group. For anyone who is not in the Facebook group, it'd be cool if you could join because you get to tell me stuff that you want from me and, like video topics, programs, offers and stuff like that, you know, things that y'all want from me. And, I'm also going to do surveys with y'all and stuff like that. So if you want to get like up close to me, you know, the group is a good place to be. And if you need to find it, my link is in my bio and you can go to my website and scroll down and then the link for the Facebook group is going to be right there. So this question, I forgot who posted it. I'm going to go back and find out though, because I took a screenshot of it so I wouldn't forget. But this question was how to put a narcissist in his place. So here's the deal. The first thing I need to tell you is this. Some of these guys can be unpredictable, and that includes obviously, you know, not just what they'll say to you, but what they might do. So the first thing I really need to tell you is that only, for lack of a better way to put it, push your luck if you think it'd be okay. But be careful because we don't know how crazy he might be or what he's going to do. So, I mean, it's like, it depends because the real and true, my real genuine answer to this question would be for putting him in it, putting the narcissist in his place is to get away. I mean, that would be the best way to put him in his place is to get the hell out. If you can get out from under his thumb and he can't control you and run your life anymore, that you've reminded him, you've let him know who's boss. I mean, that's the real answer, to be honest with you. That's the safest thing that you can do. That's the realest thing you can do. And it's the healthiest thing that you can do in that kind of situation. If you are not in a position where you can get out right away or whatever, I wouldn't so much worry about the putting him in his place and like reminding him that he's a bitch. You can do, but I would honestly save that for when you're out and you know you're safe. And you know that there's not going to be hell to pay when you run your mouth. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you just have to be careful because I don't want anything to happen to y'all. Like if you're trying to, you know, if you're trying to get out, I just don't want to see anything go wrong. So it's like, I want to tell you to wage war, but at the same time, because that's like my fantasy. But the real truth is, I don't want y'all to do anything that's going to put you in danger for real. So putting him in his place is going to be at the end when you're out and you're away from him and y'all are out of each other's lives, or at least you're no longer under his control and you're just living free and you're doing your thing and you're being you and you're living your life like in your full glory and you're not his slave anymore. That's putting him in his place. But like I say, if you are still living with him and you still need to do some things and get through the day and just survive it until you can get out, I would say that the focus may not be, for the time being, may not be to put him in his place, as it were, but to make it look like he's in control so that you don't have as much shit to deal with. And that can be kind of aggravating because you have to really bite your tongue a lot and you have to really swallow your pride and shit like that. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I have had to do that and I know how that feels. And it's hard to tell you that because I know how it feels to sit down and think, you know what, I'm just gonna have to play along and bite my tongue until I can get the hell out of here. And it's like, it's the dumbest shit ever, but it's easier to do that. It'll be easier on you if you just pretend and learn how to be a real good actress than to sit there and just fight him every day. Because that back and forth fighting, all that's gonna do is fuel him and make him crazier and possibly more violent, and we don't want that because we don't know what he's going to do. So we think we do, and then like they always drop the other shoe, you know. It's like, so we got to be careful with stuff like that because we can't predict them. But I would say really the best way to like win the situation would be to just play along step by step and play the part until you know you can get to safety and you can get out and do whatever else you got to do in the meantime, court appearances or whatever. Especially if you have to go to court, I would say do as much as you can in text messages. You know what I mean? When it comes to talking about important stuff that would have to be brought up in court, have those important conversations in text as much as possible, because as you build rapport for yourself that you're going to present in court, they need as much documentation as possible, and your lawyer will love this. They need as much documentation as possible proving that you are the level-headed one, that you are the normal one, you know, and you're the one who's been trying to follow the rules, do things the right way, not cause a disturbance, and just make sure everybody's happy and healthy. That needs to be you. You need to be the one doing that as much as you possibly can. Once you're out of there and it's all over with and you on top, you can say and do whatever you want. Have a field day after that. But I'm just saying, if you're still stuck with him and you're still like in the process of getting out of there, or like, you know, escaping, I would just say, you know, try to play your cards right, and it's hard, but just, you know, bite your tongue and play along and make it seem like you're just doing your best to be kind and be amicable. And if you need more detail on something like this, I would highly suggest checking out a YouTube channel. Usually I don't send people to her for this kind of stuff, because some stuff she says I agree with, and some of it it's a little bit too much even for me, but I'm going to send you to her for this. And I want you to check out a woman called Shara, Shera, Shara 7, the word 7 spelled out, Shara 7. I want you, her old YouTube name when I found her like years ago used to be a Shara Star Goddess, if that sounds familiar to anybody, but nowadays it's Shara 7. Let me tell you, this woman will teach you the ins and motherfucking outs of how to pretend with men, narcissist or not. You know, her main focus is teaching you how to get what you want from them in general, which is pretty much a bit dark feminine, but maybe some of it might be a little bit femme fatale. It just depends. It's a little bit of a gray area with her, but we'll get to that some other time. But if you need, you know, more detail sooner than I can get around to doing a video for it, if you need more detail on how to go about that and how to learn how to pretend, I'd highly suggest checking out Shara 7, because she will teach you. Well, let me tell you something though. The stuff that she teaches you is things that you have to train yourself to not feel in order to do it right. Do you see what I mean? She'll teach you good shit. If you're in a bind, if you're in a certain situation and you just need to pretend your way out of it, or pretend your way through it to get what the fuck you need for a quick fix, you know, then by all means use her methods, which would be what we're talking about here. So, I mean, go for it. I'm just saying, be careful, you know, if just be careful, but I would say try her stuff, because, you know, she's good at that. And her videos are hilarious, and men will get in the comments in her videos and argue with her, and she squashes them every time, because they'll say smart ass shit, you know, and she just pounds it. So anyway, but my advice would be, and I think I have a YouTube video on this. She'll have more variety, and her videos might be a little bit more entertaining, if you want to watch her, 'cause she's hilarious. But I think I've done at least one, if not two, videos on how to finesse the narcissist, is what it's called. That's the video that I did. And that's on the playlist Narcissist. If you go to my YouTube channel, it's on that playlist. But anyway, how to finesse them. And it's just, you just kind of learn how to bullshit your way through it until you get to the other side. And once you get to the other side of it and you're free, it's like, do whatever you want after that. Run your mouth as much as you want, whatever. If you know you're safe, shit, squash them. Print it in the papers, I don't care. Let everybody know. You know what I mean? So they deserve it anyway. But I would say it's because when you're stuck with, especially if you're still living with who's going to be your ex-narcissist, it's really hard to not let your anger get the best of you. It's really hard. And it's hard to sit there and like control the urge to just burn the house down. I know that. But as women, we have to understand that because we can't lift heavy stuff, we have to prove every damn day that we're smarter than them in order to be seen as equal. So that being the situation, you're having to outsmart and outwit dudes who are just out to control you. And you have to be able to think faster than them, which it's not hard, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to learn, one of your biggest things that you're going to have to understand with this is that you've got to learn how to remove your emotions from the situation. Women get, we're accused of and laughed at for getting emotional. The reason women get emotional in things is because they can relate as a living being. They can relate to creatures, they can relate to animals. That's why so many women, vegetarians, etc. You know, and things like that. And because we can relate and we get fully involved, we get all of our parts of ourselves involved in something, we don't half-ass it. You know, we don't half-ass shit around here. And because we're so fully involved and fully encompassed in what we're doing and what we engage in, we get emotional about it. But when it comes to dealing with somebody who's not going to do that and not going to get fully involved and not going to get fully encompassed and isn't going to use all the parts themselves and isn't going to feel and blah, 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 all the fucking rest of it. Once you're dealing with somebody like that who's like a fucking robot, you have no choice but to pull the same shit. You have no choice but to mirror that shit if you're going to get through it. It's like dealing with a sociopath who, unlike the narcissist, does not so much get emotionally involved. And also sociopaths don't, they don't see when things are wrong. They don't see when they've done wrong. And therefore they don't experience remorse and guilt and things like that. They also have a problem saying thank you and shit like that too. You know, it's like normal responses, emotional responses people would have to things, a sociopath doesn't have. So because there's the world is overrun with men who don't connect, it forces us as spiritual, energetic beings that we are, especially spiritual, to pull the same shit just so that we can deal with them. And you have to be as dull and as dim as they are just to get through the situation. So when it comes to a narcissist who's, you know, pretending anyway, a lot of the time, you, in a lot of ways, are kind of pushed into this corner where, shit, you're going to have to pretend too. But you're going to benefit from it in the end. The narcissist doesn't. They don't benefit from shit. They don't even have a foundational identity because their mommy didn't bond with them. And now the whole damn world's paying for it. So really, you ought to call her and ask her what her damn problem is. What is the problem? You know, so she screwed something up. I don't know. So that's why they're like that. And because they are so disconnected, in order to deal with them, you have to also be disconnected. Because if you start getting emotional about shit and start letting your anger get the best of you, you're going to start losing. Because you're not going to be able to think straight. And because you're going to be so mad about what's been done. Hell yeah, you should be mad. Shit, yeah. But, you know, you can save that for later. It's just, it's one of those things, you know, women really have to prioritize, you know, ruining somebody's life who has ruined them, or, you know, letting your emotions get the best of you and doing that, or shutting it off like a sociopath just for a second and just thinking straight for a second and making it businesslike. Make it businesslike. And think to yourself, okay, this is what he does. What can I do to benefit from this? And I want you to start turning shit around and start looking at it as a business thing and start looking at it as something that you look at only to benefit you in some way or another. And I want you to, and don't overwhelm yourself with like looking at the big picture of shit. I want you to slow down every day and take one damn day at a time with this clown. One day at a time so you don't get overwhelmed. One step at a time. And each day, each interaction the two of y'all have to have, I want you to just come at it in calmness. I want you to come at it, you know, on your good behavior, following the rules, quote unquote, which is hard for me because I don't like rules. And And I want you to commit it as businesslike as possible, because you learning how to see it as something that can just benefit you in however way you can manage that, it's going to be a lot more important than just being mad and trying to figure out how you're going to get out of there and being defeatist about it. Do you see what I mean? Because if you let your emotions get the best of you, you're going to feel defeated the whole time, because everything's going to piss you off. And it should. You should be mad. Hell yeah, you should be mad. I'm not saying you shouldn't. It's healthy to be mad. Anger shows you where your boundaries are. So you need anger because you need to know where the fuck your line is. So that's important to be mad. Pay attention to it, but don't let it conquer you. Because if you let it conquer you, you're going to lose yourself, and you're just going to be swimming in a sea of shit while he's sitting there pulling all the strings. You don't want that. So I guess that would be a way to put him in his place, is to just, be the one who's more businesslike. And it's almost like you can compete with him secretly. He doesn't know this. But it's almost like you can compete with him over which one of y'all is going to be more disconnected emotionally. Because whichever one of you is more disconnected emotionally is going to come out on top, because none of this shit's going to bother you. If the shit don't bother you and you got a backup plan in the back of your head and you're, like doing shit behind the scenes, you're going to be A-okay. Sometimes, people in this world are so damn crazy that they force you to pull the sociopath shit in order to just get through it with them. Just to get through it. But once you're out the other side, you can, number one, see what you survived and pat yourself on the damn back for it. You can say that you are the better person because you kept a level head, and everybody saw that you went through some real shit, and you came out, doing just fine, for a lack of a better way to put it, basically. Now, if you come out and you seemingly are doing just fine, but you still need to go to therapy and shit, do that. So what? So fucking what? But I'm just saying, you come out the other side and your life's not in shambles. You're not living on the street, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, come out, you get your own place, you go stay with somebody, get yourself a little job, make sure your children have what they need, let everybody know that you're doing okay, whatever. Make sure you have your support system and your friends and whoever is going to be there with you. Make sure you keep in touch with all those people. Keep your shit together as much as possible, and you'll have only yourself to thank in the end for that, for making the right choices, and for lack of a better way to put it, acting your age, and just doing things that are going to help you in the long run. And that would be, to me, the best way to put him in his place, is to just come out on top by basically beating him at his own game, because they try to. Because they don't understand emotions, they don't have any kind of emotional intellect at all. They get wrapped up in stuff, and then at the same time, they sometimes like to flaunt that they are not emotional and that they don't get wrapped up in things and that we're the emotional ones. So they do a little bit of both, which is real stupid. That's what they do. What you're going to do is beat them at their own damn game. Because whichever one of y'all is sitting there crying in the floor is going to be on the losing end, like I say. If you can avoid that and let him be the one to do the hysterics, you know what? Fine. And don't forget to fucking make a video of that shit so I can see it. I want to see. I've seen some other shit, let me tell you. Like, I mean, and I forget getting it from clients. Hell, even if I don't have that, I can just go on TikTok and see people's recordings in their kitchen, just like the shit that goes on. But anyway, anything that you can do to use your noggin and disconnect emotionally and come at it very businesslike, so that you can look at how the situation would benefit you, and how you can get a businesslike approach, and how you can get a businesslike result, and just look at where you can get whatever you want out of the situation and not worry about the rest of it, and just disconnect emotionally completely and unplug it as much as possible. And it'll take practice. It's going to take practice, because we're not designed that way. Human beings are not designed that way. They can do it because all they think about is themselves, but that's not the same for us. We can't afford to do that. So, because we've got too many people relying on us. So, the not giving a shit, we have to practice at that, because it's not normal. And But if you can do it, that's why I say little by little. I tell my clients this all the time, little by little, step by step, a little bit at a time, you can figure out how to shut some shit down. I'm okay. Shut it down, just a little bit at a time, and get to where you don't give a shit. If you don't give a shit, it's not going to bother you. If it doesn't bother you, you're not going to get angry. If you don't get angry, you can still think clearly. If you can still think clearly, you can get your plan to get the fuck out of there. Do you see what I mean? So things like that. That's what I want you to keep in mind. And that's if I was having to do it all over again, that's exactly how I would do it. Kind of is how I did it, to be honest with you, at the tail end there. But it took me till the tail end. I didn't figure that out like halfway through or whatever. It took me a while to pick up on that method, but eventually I did, and it worked so fucking good. Oh my God. So, but anyway, that's what I would say. How to put him in his place is basically to just beat him in his own game. So, I hope that answers your question. If y'all have any more questions, I'm going to check. I'm not good at reading the comments in the live. I suck at that because I get distracted from what I'm saying, and then I screw up. So if y'all ever want to get in the live and ask questions and stuff, please do. I'll go back and look at it later. Especially if you're in my Facebook group, those are the ones I respond to the most. But I get distracted and I forget what I'm talking about. So, and I can't do that because my mind is like, brr. So anyway, that's it for that. I hope that helps. And, I'll go back and check and answer questions or whatever. And, as always, especially if you're in my Facebook group, that is where you can get, up close with me and give me ideas and ask me questions, ask me more questions, and get video topics from me and other stuff, whatever, suggestions for what I should offer, things like that, courses, anything. So join the group, get up in there, and share a meme or two, whatever y'all can post and shit. You know the drill. So that's it for now, and thanks for listening, and I hope that helped, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.